until the mayor returns. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to make Jason House Mayor Pro Tem.
Is there a second?
A second.
Okay. On the motion to approve Trustee Jason House as Mayor Pro Tem in the absence of Mayor Rogers for this evening, Tuesday, February 18th at 2020. Like the records show, it is about, 6:50. So anyone give me a 6:60. We can't even agree on that. This is not a good start. I'll go with 6:53. Okay. Okay. On the motion, bear with me. Trustee Dunn.
Aye.
Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes. Not here. Trustee Holmes did inform me that he was not able to be here this evening. And Trustee Henyer.
Aye.
Okay. Trustee House.
Okay. Good evening, everybody, and thanks for your patience this evening. We will try to move things speedily through the agenda to make up for time. If I can ask really quickly, Ms. Scott, is the water department open? I know the mayor was making that adjustment. If anybody is here for a concern with the water or with the water bill, the water department is open at this time, so please feel free to go right over so you can get your questions or concerns addressed. We don't want anybody to miss that opportunity while we have people here. That was something the mayor began doing to address people on the spot with concerns. Having said that, we're going to go into our agenda with the Pledge of Allegiance, so please everybody stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jerome, would you mind to lead us in prayer?
Everybody come to fully understand about the agenda and say, God bless you.
Amen.
Okay, then next up is general announcements. Are there any general announcements from the board?
Yes. I don't know how many are aware or unaware. Channel 4 has been down for some time now, for maybe a week, 2 weeks. We're in the process, and we've already purchased a new server for the channel. The server that we had they bought in 2005, and it lasted this long. Over the last 2 years, I've been doing things. We replaced a few power supplies and stuff like that, but it's finally out. It's done. So the next server is supposed to be here tomorrow. So the goal is to once it gets here, to get it hooked up and back up and rolling.
Thank you, trustee. Any other announcements from the board?
Yes, I have some. Mayor?
Please do.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for coming out on this Tuesday. Hopefully y'all had fun on y'all off day yesterday. Just a couple announcements. I have a membership, it's a mentor program for the youth. I've been fighting left to right to put the youth program on this agenda. I haven't gotten anywhere with that. So, of course, as always, I do my own thing. I have a lot of resources to bring to our youth in the village of Dolton. So, listen very carefully, those that's watching, those that's in the audience. Any kids with backgrounds, anything that's wrong, it doesn't matter. I have great mentors. I partner with the NBA. So I have Coach James Grape Williams. That's one of your mentors to help the kids that's into sports or just mentorship, period. So if you want these resources, please reach out to myself. James Grape Williams, he trained all the professional athletes and all the top players. So he's on board, and then I have a lot of other people I'm not going to name drop. So if you're interested, please sign up while I have spaces available. My cell number is 708-297-6859. Again, that's 708-297-6859. This is for all the youth in the village of Dolton and anybody else that wants to join. Next, I'm having a town hall meeting on February 29th at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And guess what it's about? Water bills. Thanks to you, Sandra. That's all for you. One of our residents always come in and complain about the water bill, the water department. So one thing about me, I always listen to your concerns and I try to address them. So if you have a concern, a bill, an issue, please, by all means, be at this meeting on February 29th, which is a Saturday, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And I will address any questions or concerns, and we will bring everything back here to this board and make sure that they are held accountable for whatever your concerns are. Last but not least, I just want to read this, and this is for the record, Mary Kay. I'm pulling it up. Okay. Residents, if you recall in our last board meeting, the mayor cautioned me about saying things that are untrue as it relates to stealing in the water department. While the mayor did not come right out and say people are stealing, he's very careful with words. Remember that. I want to encourage each of you here tonight and those of you watching online to refer to board meeting dated January 21st, 2020. Again, that date is January 21st, 2020. And begin to listen at the mark of 5601 of the video, and you will hear for yourself that the mayor agreed that there has been stealing taking place in the department, and that is a big reason why the department no longer accepts cash. I want to make that clear. That's for the record. Thank you. End of my statement.
Excuse me, one thing, trustee, for the town hall meeting location.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry about that. The location is Dolton Park District in the Amber Room. Dolton Park District, you guys, in the Amber Room. Again, February 29th, 11 to 2 p.m. regarding the water bills, the water department issues. And just so y'all know, we got a RFP going for a forensic audit to basically try to alleviate some of the issues over there in the water department. So please text, call, email your concerns to myself, Tiffany Hinyard, thinyard@vodol.org, or call me 708-297-6859. Thank you again. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the announcements. I have two. One is that our monthly finance committee meeting will be Wednesday, February 26th, 5:30 p.m. here, so it's the same place and time as regularly scheduled, the final Wednesday of the month. And second, a week ago I had the opportunity to be part of a meeting over at Dolton Library. They've done some wonderful renovations over there, and I got beat up a couple of times for not having a library card. So I want to encourage everybody, please go in there, take advantage of things that are in our community. A lot of good work has been done in there, and they have friendly staff. So please go in with valid ID and 2 pieces of mail to get your library card. Because I had my mail on my phone that wasn't good enough, I have to go back again. So please take advantage of all the things that we do have in the village of Dolton. Okay, I have one more announcement from Trustee Steve.
Thank you. I forgot. You helped remind me that the Public Works Committee meeting will be the 25th, which will be the Tuesday next week. So I invite everyone to come out to the Public Works Committee meeting at 5:30, February 25th.
Okay, so moving into the agenda, item number 1 on here is for discussion. So this is, of course, for the board to discuss, and then also residents, we want your feedback during citizens' address. So anything that we discuss, we're trying to identify if this should move forward to our voting meeting, but we definitely want feedback on all items on the agenda. So anything that touches your heart, please speak up. This item is authorizing and providing the issuance of a $1.4 million general obligation bond, Series 2020, for Homewood disposal. We're trying to recognize whose agenda item it was for elaboration.
From my understanding, this came through Kasperick and Company and working with Mr. Kankar
Okay.
to renew this bond.
Okay. So what I can say about this for board discussion and public address, annually we do a bond for Homewood Disposal to pick up our trash. So this is a one-year bond that we have done for at least as long as I've been on the board, for the last 3 years. This helps us to maintain our cash flow, so that way we can pay the bills, make sure the trash is picked up, as well as and not have all of the money come out of our general fund at one time. So I believe this is the reason that it's been put on there. I want to kind of get feedback from the board if they have any thoughts or questions. I have not gotten all of my questions answered just yet, because I was trying to identify if we did 1.4, 1.3 million last year. So that amount is what I'm in question. And then also keeping in mind that we are going into the budget process at this time. We anticipate having our budget complete before the beginning of the fiscal year, but we still have 2 to 3 more months before that budget is complete. However, if this bill is due immediately before the budget process is complete, we want to make sure that's addressed timely. So with that, I'll open it to the board for questions or discussion. A lot of smiling faces.
Is this urgent? Can it be tabled until the person requesting be here to explain, or how do you feel about that?
Clerk Dugan will respond.
It was my understanding that Attorney Kankar, who prepared the ordinance and who prepares our bond ordinances, was going to be here this evening. I will ask him if he will be here at the next meeting. We are under a time limit with Homewood Disposal in terms of passing the bond in order to be able to meet our obligations to make the monthly payments as due. So this would be required to be on the agenda for the first meeting in March.
So, but he'll be there to discuss it.
I will certainly ask him, and in past experience, he is usually happy to oblige.
Okay.
And if I can ask Clerk Dugan, I want to put this then as an agenda item for the Finance Committee, since we'll have that in between now and the board meeting, so maybe we could have a little bit more clarity moving into there. Any other thoughts? Next thing on the agenda, item number 2 is acquisition and transfer of 13826 through 13844 Lincoln Avenue to Dolton Park District. Whose item was this one?
The items on the agenda this evening, none of them have a specific member of the board putting them forward. They have all been either brought to my attention or to the mayor for placement on the agenda.
Okay.
So no one person on the board is sponsoring, quote unquote, any of these. But this one was on the agenda pursuant to request by Dolton Park District through the mayor's office and myself. And we do have the attorney, one of the attorneys for the Park District here to explain if anybody has any questions.
Please.
Oh, yes, where's...
It's
Oh. There you go, you popped up.
Right here.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Good evening. My name is Brenda Gorski. I'm with the Law Office of Michelle Broughton Fountain, and we represent the Dolton Park District. And quite frankly, this is exciting to be back. I grew up in Dolton. So, in my first real job was with the village. Part-time, after school, you know, it was, so I have near and dear memories. So this has been kind of a fun trip down memory lane. Anyway, going back to the acquisition and transfer, this property has had multiple years of delinquent taxes. It is abandoned for all intents and purposes, and it is adjacent to a baseball diamond and other property owned by the Park District. So what the Park District would like to do is ask the village to declare the property abandoned and go through that process. We're asking, the Dolton Park District is asking that our law office be appointed to facilitate the legal work on that endeavor. And then once we actually acquire, or you actually acquire title of the property, then the Park District can take it over. And in your packet today is a copy of the resolution, proposed resolution for your consideration, as well as some aerial photographs and the title company records. And this is for discussion only, so if you do have any questions, I'll be happy to take them. Should be self-explanatory, I think, but certainly I'll entertain whatever questions that you may have.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Is this part of the 19 million federal money that we got to help with the overpass and stuff like that? Is this part of that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I don't know, but I'll check that.
No, I don't believe. Please,
I don't believe it is.
I got a
Correct.
question. So the $19 million has to do with the project that's on 138th and Cottage Grove. This is dealing with rail speed, and we're doing some upgrades.
Correct.
And in conjunction with that, we have to move a utility line that is crossing over the tracks, and that will also kind of impose on where the baseball diamond is now. So we're kind of pushing it back a little bit, so that would be where we would come into giving you that property. Okay?
Thank you for that information. I did not know
Okay.
that. I do
I don't-
appreciate that history.
Trustee Hen, you had a question?
Yeah, thank you. So I'm just trying to make sure I'm clear. So you want the property that's adjacent to the baseball field? That's why I
Yes,
understand.
if you take a look at the aerial photos that are in your packet.
I'm sorry, Ms. Gorski, we don't have the aerial photos, we
don't
just have the resolution.
Oh, okay. Well, if you'd like, I can pass those around.
Yes, please.
I'm sorry, I thought you did have those. And so you don't have the title commitments either? I'll go ahead and submit these to you, and
I'll make it.
Yeah, you could, and I'll pass it down.
No, if you have one set of copies,
if you'd like.
I'll make some copies, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. If I can ask, then was that? You have more
I'm
questions?
trying to understand the location.
Okay. I did. I drove past, so I know where you're speaking of. In terms of the acquisition itself, or you say appointing your office to do that, would that be a fee that the village would pay for, or would
Park
that be
District.
the park district?
I believe, yes, I believe Park District, because they're the ones interested in acquiring the property.
And do you know who the current property owner is, or at least on the?
On the record, yes, it's in the packet that I just gave to the clerk for you to get. Let me see if I have another copy of it. Current owner is, for tax purposes, let's see. Roseland Christian Health Ministries.
Okay. Well, I think everything else is self-explanatory to me. I don't have any additional questions.
And the title packet is also in the group that's coming with the aerial photos.
But you want us to do all the legal work as far as back taxes off the property, everything.
Go through
Process.
the process of having this property declared.
Clear, free and clear. And
Okay.
then give it to you.
Now, if I'm understanding right, you're asking that we appoint your office to do that work on behalf of the park district?
Yes, sir.
So we're granting the authority for you to do that process?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, wait, so they're paying for it, not us?
The park district will pay for it, and the park district will pay your law office to do it, and we're just granting authority to appoint Michelle Fountain. Ooh, try to say that 3 times. Okay. We're appointing that law office to do the work. However, the park district is paying their law office.
With
Right?
the expectation that once the property is acquired,
That will turn it over to the park.
Right.
Can't forget that part. Okay.
that's the important part.
All right.
That is the
So with
more
that,
important part.
I'll see if we can have from the board if there's a consensus to move this to the next meeting.
I'm just making sure I'm clear. They paying for it, not us. You just doing an agreement with us, correct?
That is my understanding.
Okay.
I do believe that's what it states here, but I will double check on that and certainly.
So you're not sure?
I'll be at the next meeting.
Okay.
Well, I grew up here. The last 12 years I've been living in South Carolina.
So then, so then the thing on the table is, we want to move it forward with the assumption that the Park District will be responsible for all fees.
Yes.
That's my understanding. But I will clarify that for sure.
Okay, I'll ask for Trustee Denton. You okay with moving this to the voting meeting? Trustee Steve, I am yes. Okay, I'm going to pause for our Clerk Dugan a little bit.
I guess the other thing is, if you do have questions prior to the next meeting, I don't have cards yet, so.
Will you be here through the duration of this meeting? Because there may be some residents that have questions.
I will be. Most certainly I will definitely be here, yes.
All right.
And, if nothing else, I'll take the questions down and get back to.
Sounds good.
Who would you like me to get back to? Ms. Dugan or the mayor or yourself?
Maybe Ms.
Central location? That
Ms. Scott, would you be okay, or maybe Ms. Johnson? Okay, Administrator Scott.
Okay.
Here comes Clerk Dugan, so we'll take the official.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else then?
No, that'll conclude this one. We're just going to take the consensus vote. Okay. Deborah, I was moving too fast, so she told me, right?
This one is this. Jim Murphy sent this out today with some recommendations. I would suggest that you should just way to look at. Just name the title. Just as far as the zoning locations. That would be something that the committee, the finance committee, it's done. It just needs to be before.
Okay, so for the consensus vote to move this item forward with the assumption that the Park District will be paying for the legal fees and transfer to go to the Park District thereafter. Trustee Denton.
I don't like that word assumption, but aye.
Trustee Steve.
Aye.
I am Trustee House is aye. Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Henry.
Aye.
Okay, so we will move it to the voting meeting.
Yes, just this was not an official vote. This was a consensus of the board.
Okay.
Pending further discussion possibly and deliberation at the next meeting.
Next thing on the agenda is item 3, zoning and license specifications on cannabis ordinance. If I can't, would you be okay with elaborating a little bit?
I can try.
Here.
In December of last year, not all that long ago, the board passed actually 3 different cannabis ordinances in response to the recent legalization. They were passed at the end of the year because of the need to basically decide yay or nay if the village of Dolton was open for business to potential investors in dispensaries or as growers. The ordinance, however, left open certain items regarding specifics as to where the potential businesses could be located or not be located in the Village of Dolton. State law is very thorough about that in terms of where it cannot be located, and then it's up to the village to decide, and the trustees to decide if it wants to make any regulations specifically within the village off limits or open for business and throughout the village. So what needs to be done, hopefully sooner rather than later, is for the board to look through, and Attorney Murphy has submitted a revised ordinance. This is the primary ordinance that the board passed that deals with those issues, with zoning in particular, and in conjunction with discussions that were had prior to the passage of the ordinance at the public hearing last December to basically reaffirm those specifics and include them in the body of the ordinance. And I just suggested to Trustee House that maybe this would be an item that should also be on the Finance Committee agenda for further discussion before the next voting board meeting.
Okay, and we'll be happy to place this on the Finance Committee meeting next week, Wednesday. Having said that, any questions or comments from the board?
Well, since you placed it on that meeting, I guess I'll save it for that, because I'm just trying to make sure about locations, and I got a bunch of questions, but I want to move forward, so.
Yeah, the ordinance, we caution you trustees, we just received the revised version I received it this afternoon and sent it out to you, and you have a hard copy before you tonight. But there are a number of fill-ins that Attorney Murphy is suggesting. If you like, well, I think it's self-evident in terms of what was not included in the previous ordinance, but if you have any questions, I'd be happy to provide you with a copy of the previous ordinance as well.
Yes, please.
All right, with that being said, we'll ask for a consensus vote to move this to our next meeting, first board meeting in March. That's all right. Can I go, Trustee? Or
No.
I'll ask Madam Clerk to assist.
Well, actually, it's not a formal roll, so you're certainly free to ask for the consensus and be my guest.
Okay, Trustee Denton?
Aye.
Trustee Steve? Aye. Trustee House is aye. Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Henyard?
Question. You said move it to the voting meeting, or I thought it was going to be a finance meeting, no?
Finance meeting, but then we'll still have to place it on the voting meeting.
But it'll go there first and get vetted
Yes.
before that, okay.
Yes. Okay, next agenda item is increasing maximum number of video gaming terminals from 5 to 6 per licensed business. Clerk Newton, please elaborate.
Yes, the village has received a number of inquiries from current gaming vendors in the village asking if we were going to amend our current ordinance, which allows for up to 5 gaming terminals per licensed business. State law now permits up to 6, and that's, basically a question for the trustees.
Do we get money per terminal? Do you know the amounts?
I believe it's $1,000
That the
per
village,
terminal.
that the village gets?
Yeah, the licensing fee.
And every business wants to increase it and pay that?
Not every business. I've only heard from a few. And not directly from the local businesses, but from the vendors who sell the gaming machines to the local businesses.
Oh, so much from that. Okay. Is discussion or?
Yes, please, discussion.
Okay. I don't gamble. So I'm not a big advocate of increasing machines in the town. I feel we have a community that made up of seniors, and I try my best to protect your dollars. I don't try to give you more ways to spend it in gambling, because it can go towards your light bill, your car note. That's just my way of thinking. I understand that you might go to the boat or XYZ. So I'm not for increasing the terminals. I mean, I'm okay with the 5 and not going to 6. That's just the way I feel about it.
Okay. Thank you, Trustee. Any comments from the rest of the board? Okay. Well, I'll give my my opinion. I think from 5 to 6, if they have 5 or 6, I'm more interested in the community feedback on this. I think if they have 5 or 6, I don't know that it'll make a tremendous amount of difference. But having said that, this is depending on what kind of community we want to have, so I do want to get feedback from residents at Citizens Address. And then if it offers us the opportunity of $1,000 per machine, we can definitely use the revenue. So that's my statement or comment on there. I'll leave it open to Trustee Steve.
My opinion on that is, of course, I mean, I'm not a gambler. I think we have some of the highest fees for terminals in the Southland, but again, like Trustee Jason House said, the revenue side of it, we can always use the revenue. So that's how I look at it.
I guess question, Mary Kate, is it not 500? If I recall, it was 500, so it's $1,000 now?
It's $1,000 per.
In the original ordinance, it was 500, it passed in 2012, and the board has since increased it to 1,000.
Any other comments? Okay.
I'd like to hear what the residents have to say about it.
Okay. So with that, do we take a consensus or?
You don't have to.
Okay, we'll hold off on taking the consensus vote till after citizens address, and then we can take the direction beyond after for future meetings. Nope. So next thing up is amending the hours of placement of waste containers at curbs. Administrator Scott, can I ask if you would help me with this one, or? Thank you.
So we received a lot of complaints from some seniors that are unable to put their garbage out at night because of the hours. They don't feel safe going out at night. So sometimes they will put their garbage out earlier in the day, and as a result, they have received some citations. I've received some letters. We all received some complaints in regards to that. So we are currently trying to revise that to accommodate the residents.
And it's really up to you all, but I know that some of the suggestions at the last committee meeting was that we put we allow 24 hours before of garbage pickup and 24 hours after. We also got feedback that the 24 hours after was too long. So it's up to the board, but we have received a lot of complaints from our seniors in regards to the safety, them not feeling comfortable putting their garbage out at night.
Thank you for the explanation. Anybody on the board, questions, comments?
We did discuss at the housing committee meeting that after 3 p.m. could possibly be a good time to put the garbage cans out, since the time changes as the season changes, the time changes. So it gets dark at least by 4:56 or something like that. So after 3 p.m. we thought possibly would be a good time to put the garbage cans out.
And just for clarity, what are the proposed hours that we're looking for placement, or is that what we're discussing at this moment? Okay. So any thoughts from anybody on what hours we should? Okay.
I guess I got a question. So you guys are giving tickets to people because they put it out before, or I'm trying to understand why this is an issue.
So we do have some seniors that will put their garbage cans out. I think it's around, we've seen 9 in the morning. 9, almost 25 hours prior to their garbage pickup time. I think the ordinance currently states after 7 p.m. And because of the winter, and it's too dark for a lot of our seniors, so we're trying to take them into consideration and accommodate them. So it's up to the board, the times that you all would see fit. I think maybe 24 hours may be too early, but it's really up to you all.
Well,
I have a question. Does this also pertain to the time that they have to be placed back? And this is to put them out, but does this also include a time?
okay. I think my suggestion would be 3 p.m. the day before to put them out, and 3 p.m. the day of to bring it back in. So it's a 24-hour window. To
3 p.m. the night before?
Yeah, 3 p.m. the night before to place the garbage cans out, and then in by 3 p.m. the day after the next day.
Got working
The
people.
reason why I think it should be 24 hours or extended a little longer is because some people get off work a little later, so the garbage can might still be out past 3, or they picking their kids up from school, or they might get off at 5, so then they come from downtown area, they might get here about 6 or 7. So I think it should be put back by 7 p.m. that night at least.
Okay. So you're saying?
Yeah, because if you drive through the community, half the time the garbages are still out. Most people don't get home until around that time.
Okay.
So
your
if
suggestion
they got a
is?
ticket, I don't think that's right.
I follow. So your suggestion is 3 p.m. the day before it can be out, and 7 p.m. the day of to bring it back in.
Next night, because they're going to work by then. So give them time to get home.
I can agree with that. Clerk Dugan, please.
Some of the internal discussion regarding the 24 hours certainly did generate whether that was too long, 24 hours before the pickup time and 24 hours after the pickup time, giving a total of 48 hours for the cans to be out there. There was some concerns that that was too long. The response to that I heard is that when we have, for some of us, the numbers don't stick in our brains. It's just easier to remember 7 p.m. The night before to 7 p.m. the night after, just for the sake of that sticks in your head, as opposed to, is it 3, is it 5, which is the exercise we were all doing when we were trying to recall what the ordinance actually said. I concede the point that is a long time. On the other hand, in practice, the village has been giving, up until recently when it's called to our attention, the village has essentially given everyone extra time to accommodate not wanting to put the garbage out when it's dark, or I leave early in the morning, I don't get back till late in the evening, those sorts of things. So there was some latitude given to residents that is pretty much become institutionalized. I was surprised to learn that the actual ordinance, the window is much shorter on paper than what we've been practicing for many, many years. So I would suggest, I think the 3 to 7 p.m. makes sense, other than it's going to be, it may be tough for people to keep it, be conscious of it, where something like 7 to 7 sticks. But if you're going to go that far out, or even any length further out, that would also be with the proviso, I would hope, that residents know that if they push that envelope much any further out, that they are subject to a citation.
Thank you for your comments. Any other comments? Okay, with that, so we'll look for a consensus to move. Do we need an ordinance for this?
We sure do.
Okay, so I'll look that we move to our next board meeting with a 3 p.m. to 3 p.m. the day before to put it out, and 7 p.m. the day of to bring it back in. So Trustee Denton, are you okay with that? Trustee Steve? Trustee House, yes. Trustee Brown?
Yes.
And Trustee Henry?
Yes.
Okay. And last but not least, adding a Melanie Fitness Center committee to the standing committees. Trustee Steve, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. The purpose of this, we have the standing committees is finance, housing, public works. I want to add Melanie Fitness as a standing committee. That way, the things that we are doing over there, we can talk about it, discussion, and let instead of it being just one part of my committee report, we can have a whole meeting dedicated to Melanie Fitness, and that way we make everything that I'm doing over there as transparent as possible, so people will know what's going on, and you can give your input at that meeting, or you can hear about what's going on at that meeting. So that's the purpose of me wanting to have its own standing committee. If anybody have any questions?
I have one question. Who do you propose as members of that committee?
I propose Trustee Jason House.
Mayor. Mayor appoints the committee member.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Maya. I got ahead of myself. Okay.
My suggestions were, it's up to the mayor. My suggestions was Trustee Jason House because he's involved with the finance with me, and then Trustee Tammy Brown because she's an active member over there, and she's very active over there with Melody Fitness.
Okay.
I would like, Sandra loves to help me, but she doesn't come out to the Melody Fitness at all.
Don't bother our residents. Statements, questions from board? Trustee Enyart?
I guess I didn't think he needed this to have a standing committee. He just pick a date and it'll always be the date. You need an ordinance for that?
Yes.
I thought the same thing, Trustee, but I was told that I had to come through committee all then to a voting meeting.
As of last May of 2019, the board established the current committees by ordinance, and to add a committee would require amending that ordinance. And the current ordinance does provide that the mayor selects. The trustees may choose which committees to establish, but the mayor appoints the membership.
Okay. So with that, I'll look for a consensus vote. Trustee Denton?
Aye.
Trustee Steve?
Aye.
Trustee House is aye. Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Enyart?
I guess I'm gonna make up a committee. I'm gonna get one. Okay.
She made a committee, she'll get one.
Just saying. I'm the most active person up here, but I also don't know committees. Okay.
Okay, so with that being said, I think we move, a quick announcement, Administrator Scott.
So I just wanted to make an announcement. We had the hiring event today for manufacturing. And so because they're talking about building the airport out here in the south suburbs, there's been a huge spike in manufacturing, building facilities. So Amazon was there, Menosha, which is a food processing company. Ardagh was there. They actually had the most jobs out of all of these companies. Silverline, Avatar, LB Steel was there. Miniat, Excel, and Sterling Lumber. So we're going to try to have more hiring events. There were a lot of people that came through. We also had Deborah Ashford Montgomery. She does senior hiring, and we're going to be having her come to the next coffee with the mayor the second Saturday in March. She will be there along with some other people to discuss hiring for seniors and other individuals. So if you're able to come. We also have the people there that does hiring, Martha's, for young people who have had infractions with the police and have criminal records, criminal backgrounds. So we're going to continue to do that. But at the next coffee with the mayor, we will have someone there that does senior hiring.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I do see the president of our park district has just arrived. I didn't know if you had any comments. I know we had your agenda item up earlier.
No. Just in case you would have any questions in regards to the project.
Okay. Thank you very much. So with that, we're gonna. Did you? If your heart so desires, please feel free.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Mayor Pro Temp, Board. The attorney addressed what was going on 138th Street. So what's happening is that Illinois Department of Transportation and CXX Railroad, they want to acquire part of the baseball land in order to expand the rail yard. So they want to expand the rail yard for more commerce to come into the yard, more train activity to come in the yard. So what's happening is, since they are taking part of the baseball field, like maybe I think it's a half an acre, a little bit more of that. So they're going to move it all over. So we have some abandoned property right there on 138th Street that's been abandoned, very long, excuse me, burned out buildings and those sorts. And it's making our village look very bad coming into the village. So what we want to do at the Park District, we want to acquire that bad land. And with that bad land, we want to build more park, put a pavilion over there. They're going to flatten all that land, probably coming this summer. They're going to flatten all that baseball land, the concession, and all that stuff. They're going to rebuild that whole entire area, CXX and Illinois Department of Transportation. So once they rebuild the land, what we're going to do is we're going to acquire that land on the corner, and we're going to put maybe a miniature park there. You know, put pavilions there. The kids who play baseball, play baseball, they will come over. Parents can have a place to relax, picnic, do some other recreational things there. So pretty much what the Park District wants to do, once we require that land, if you may so give us that land, our attorney will do the legal work on it. We're going to do the legal work. There's taxes may be on that. We're going to look and see what kind of taxes may be on that land, and we already started some research on who's the owners of that land. And once we find all that information, we're going to pretty much do all the legwork. We just pretty much need you guys to turn the land over to us so we can start the redevelopment process. So if anyone have any questions on that,
I think the burning question we asked a few times is the Park District will pay for.
Yes, the Park District is pretty much standing in front of the land and taking care of the different things like the taxes and all that stuff, because I guess that property been abandoned so long. So we pretty much going to require it and take care of it and pretty much, pardon me? We will. We're going to take care of that. The attorney is going to start doing the legwork on it if you guys have turned it over to us.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, and we have already done the consensus vote to move it to our first board meeting in March for official vote.
Yes, I really appreciate that. So coming this summer, you will see a lot of construction going on over there because the architectural renderings already have been put in place already. So we're just waiting to get a yay or nay on that land over there.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Next thing up is citizens address. Anybody?
Yes.
Please feel free to address the body. Citizens address is limited to 3 minutes by this gentleman here in the front.
I need more than 3 minutes, but good evening, everyone. Just a couple questions. Try to be quick. The money for the video gaming, if it's $1,000, $500, not sure which one it is, does that go to general funds?
Yes.
It does. Okay. The other question I have regarding the Lincoln properties, and I think it was just answered, the ask is for a gift. My question is, has there been any other interest in purchasing that land as opposed to, no offense, I think parks are beautiful. Has there been any other interest in the purchase as opposed to us gifting it? Maybe that's something to think about.
None that I'm aware of, but I would. My understanding is that the village does not currently own it. It is owned by individual property. See, the property itself is not owned by the village at this time. It's owned by an individual. So we. The land that you're seeking that we acquire, you're asking that the village go acquire, but this is not a village-owned property at this time.
Well, I guess the village have the entitlement to the deed of the property.
Mm-hmm.
So when the village had the entitlement to the deed, then they would turn it over again to the park district. So the park district started development. But that land been sitting there vacant so many years.
Okay.
And it's been continued to sit vacant. It's an eyesore.
Okay.
I agree with that. My just question was, has there been any other interest that would bring a revenue in as opposed to gifting it? That was my question.
No.
Has anybody ever, nobody's looked at it, so it probably makes sense to donate it if we're not going to try to sell it. I'm in agreement with the extension of setting the garbage cans out earlier. You know, pro seniors, I respect that, but I'm not in agreement for the 24-24. That's just too long. So that's just my opinion for that. And then for Trustee Steve, Anytime Fitness is the gym that I attend. So, no, I won't sit on that committee. But you have other trustees here that don't sit in committees. Even though it's the mayor's choice, you're stretching these other trustees very thin. While I know they would all love to sit and support, why not suggest and utilize some of our other trustees that have no committees? Exactly. I think they might be able to contribute something positive for you.
Where is Anytime Fitness at?
It's in South Holland.
Oh my goodness. Thank you.
That's it for me.
Okay. Thank you for your comment, Ms. Wells. Any other comments? Can I get? Good evening.
Good evening. I am a resident of Dolton. This is my first time.
Speak into the mic, please. You can pull it down.
I'm sorry. This is my first time coming to one of these meetings, and I think this is the first of many more that I will attend. I have a couple things that I wanted to address. The waste containers. My neighbor is a senior, and she doesn't get out much, and so I believe like her family comes over periodically, and sometimes they put her garbage out prior to, you know, not coming in on I think our garbage is picked up on today actually. So they put it out, they may put hers out like on Sunday because they're there over the weekend and they don't see her during, you know, they don't come during the week and she just does not get out. So I just want us to be mindful of seniors that don't, you know, there are seniors that move or active, but there are some seniors that are not. And so if we could be mindful of that, or maybe citations on a case-by-case scenario where if someone does get a citation, then those things are looked at before that citation turns into a fee, or I'm not sure how that goes. So that was just my comment on that. I do not think the 7 p.m. is a good time because there are some people who do get in later than 7 p.m. So if it could just be put in prior to the next morning before, because some people get off of work at 8, some people get off of work at 11. So we have to be mindful of there's first, second, and third shifts with that. And so 7 p.m. is probably the same day, may not be feasible for everyone in Dolton. And if it's just put up before that next morning, because people are coming in at all times throughout the night and they can just pick their garbage up and put it back. So that was my comment on that. I came to this meeting to address something, and I was glad that this Melanie Fitness Committee was put on the agenda, because I came to the meeting because I was not satisfied with a activity that happened at Melanie Fitness over the past couple weeks. Melanie Fitness did a fitness challenge, and I was the winner of that challenge. However, it was told to me that I would receive a cash payment on the day that I won, and I have yet to receive that payment. And then I was told that all I had to do was submit a W-9 form, and then I could pick up my check. And when I inquired about filling out that W-9 form or having that W-9 form faxed to me, I was then told that I had to wait until sometime in March for a March meeting to happen, and it was going to be voted on. So I'm really not understanding why I had to wait for something that was advertised, that I paid for. I bought into it. I was told that the winner would receive their money on the day of the final weigh-in. Right. And I did that, and I did not receive my money. And then I was told, I was put into this little small room with a trustee and someone else, and I was told that all I had to do was fill out a W-9. So I said, okay, fine, and I would receive a check. Then once I inquired about the W-9, then I was told that I had to wait sometime in March. That's not acceptable for me. Right. It's false advertisement. Right. It does not look good on the Village of Dolton, does not look good on Melanie Fitness, and it does not look good for anybody who was a part of that establishment or that program. And so I'm hoping that this committee that you guys are putting together will alleviate those type of false advertisements, because if a challenge was put on the table, I would assume that you guys would have known about it prior to, and the funds for that that challenge would have already been taken care of, so that at the time of the winner was appointed, they would be able to receive their monies at that time. And what it does is it diminishes the morale for those people who are trying to, diminishes the morale for those people who want to do that again,
Right.
and they don't get the, whatever. I just think you guys need to really consider that. And I am really looking to speak to the mayor, because that's what I came for today, so that I can find out what is going on with my money.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your statements and congratulations on winning. If I can, I want to have Trustee Steve, do you have?
Yes, it was poor communication, bad communication. It will be rectified. It will be voted on the next board meeting, and she'll get paid out.
Wait a minute. And how we paying for this?
I'm sorry.
We do weight loss challenges over there to increase membership.
Right.
We've had 2 so far. 2 weight loss challenges. In both times, we increased maybe 20 new members there by doing a weight loss challenge. So this time, it was a mix-up, bad communication, and so the money that she won, it will be paid out at the next board meeting once we vote on it.
Right, no. What I'm asking, you said vote on it. So you saying the board is gonna vote to pay her out?
It will be on the warrant list, and it'll come out of the Melanie Fitness budget.
Okay. No offense to you. What's your name? I'm sorry. Talina, I apologize for you going through that first and foremost. But the board was not aware of $1,000 that we will have to pay out.
What?
Normally when somebody do advertisement or promotions, meaning trustee Steve, need to pay out his pocket the $1,000 to you. There's no offense to you. I'm sorry that you went through that, because we don't have extra dollars to spend here and there for promotion. And if they collected dollars for it, they should have made sure that was accounted for when they was telling people these things. So I apologize, but he got to.
Okay, if I can.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I can just kind of suggest, I think maybe after this we can kind of just discuss the right way to make sure that that's taken care of, because if we sponsor something, we do need to make good on it, but we do also have a process that looks like it didn't happen. So after this, I'll talk with Trustee Steve, we'll come up with a solution.
Thank you.
One other quick thing. I know you made a comment about the senior who has family that come in. I know on a case-by-case basis, Administrator Scott has been talking to people about citations and being as mindful as possible, and I think that the reason it's on the agenda is because she saw a need for it. So kudos to the staff and everybody here for doing it, and as we see a need for things to make adjustments, I think they do a good job of recommending it to the board, and we can move forward. So I don't want everybody to feel that everything is hard and fast, but we do have to have parameters in place to move forward. So thank you for the comments. Please, if the comments come in fast and furious, we'll make adjustments. But as we're moving forward right now, at least we want to go with the 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. And if it doesn't seem like that's working, then we'll make adjustments based on feedback from the staff. Okay. That being said, please, President Jones.
Yes, I had a couple of announcements to make. This coming Saturday is our daddy-daughter frozen theme at the Park District. So I'd like everyone to come out who have daughters to participate in that. Also, if you love poetry, February the 29th from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. we have an Afrocentric Poetry Jam and Slam with open mic. That starts at 7 o'clock, February the 29th. It's going to be at our main field house in our bay room. So we invite all the residents out to enjoy some of the things at the Park District. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Clear question. I'm sorry, you guys, if I may.
Please.
Can you please get my address to the Dolton Park?
The address is 14700 Evers. The address is 14700 Evers.
In what room?
And that's the bay room.
In the bay room.
That's the room with all the windows, big windows.
Okay, and next door, I did announce earlier about the town hall meeting
Yes.
on the 29th, and I didn't know the address.
Yes,
So,
this is 14700.
and that's in the Ember Room.
Ember Room.
Okay,
Thank you.
you guys.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Board and Pro Tem. I just want to ask a question about the hours of the placement of the waste containers.
Yes, sir.
Is this going to be on an ordinance that the people can see? Will it be on the TV? Or how would you do it? Because when I moved down here, we received this in paper with a package, and we knew everything that we had to do. And usually, you have to be neighborly because we are becoming seniors. I can say 91, everyone was young, and now in 2020, everybody is seniors. But you have to be neighborly and help your neighbors put out their garbage when you know they are not able to put it out on time or pull it back in on time. But I can only say for my block, in the area where I live, they are not seniors. They are young people. And it's out 2 days ahead of time. And it's left out there 2 days after. Now, so how are you going to enact this ordinance? Whereas it doesn't make the neighbor the block look bad. Whereas I told you before, there are people on my block, and they're not seniors, but they set out raggedy, dirty furniture 2 days ahead of time. Now, what are we going to do about that? How are you going to enact that ordinance?
Okay, so the ordinance itself would do something that will come past the board for a vote. In the event that there have been some citations written, which is actually what triggered this ordinance coming up, but in the event that you observe it as well, we would ask that you call in.
And how I do it, I call in.
That's what I would say. You call in so that we can send somebody out.
There.
Yes.
And if my garbage is picked up on Monday morning, I do not want raggedy furniture sitting out on Saturday to Monday.
No.
Because I pay taxes and I like beautification.
Yes, ma'am. So no, there's the inspector should continue.
Notified.
The inspector should continue to patrol as they are, and then how will the residents be notified of the time?
Yes, yes, so they can adhere to it. That's all I want to know.
Ms. Morris, so we have completed the packet. We're holding on to it because, like this ordinance, I know it was sent out. I think the trustees got it just to review, or some of us received it to review, to add some final things on it. We are holding on to it. We're trying to figure out this ordinance. Also, we encourage people to issue warning tickets first to individuals to give people the opportunity instead of just hitting with a bunch of tickets. And if they do not comply within a certain amount of time, then we do start issuing tickets. So you can always call my office. And also for the young lady here, for your neighbor, if you give us a call ahead of time, we will try to accommodate her. Okay?
Yes, because I know my neighbor. Like today, I started to call her and see if everything was okay next door. Because normally hers is on time. But today being Monday, our pickup day, it was still out there around about 12 o'clock. And that's not her. And I was going to call her and see if everything was okay next door. Because she doesn't do that.
Okay. Thank you for the comments. All right. Good evening, Ms. Belcher.
Hi, Pro Tem Mayor. How you doing?
Good.
Just yeah, 2 questions. And I guess I was late, so I don't know. Is Sonia crossed the way for the water? Okay, how long will she be there?
For the duration of the meeting.
Okay, and then the next question is, we were at a housing meeting last week, and the clerk Dugan wasn't there, but they said that you were, the welcome package was going to print, but the updated one, is that complete yet? Or?
As Ms. Scott just said, yes, it is complete. We're holding on to it, finalize the ordinance for the garbage and any other changes.
So will I know the ordinance wouldn't probably take place at the next meeting, so.
First one in March.
Right, so the updated ordinance for the garbage, would that be included, or?
Yes.
Okay, all right, just asking. Thank you.
Thank you.
I got a question.
Just
Just clear. So when y'all have discussion in y'all committees, why didn't it come on this agenda to get to the next agenda?
Because the welcome packet is a responsibility of the village clerk, not of any one committee.
So we can't talk about it as a whole, so we can have input?
You can talk about it as much as you like.
Okay, I guess you misunderstand me. If you made something or the committee made something, normally it comes to the committee of the whole so the entire body can weigh in on whatever the package is.
Excuse me, my voice is going out. On legislation, yes. But as far as the assigned responsibilities of the clerk, no.
So you think because you're the clerk and you made a package that we don't get to say so on the package? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm saying that is the province of the clerk, and that predates me.
I beg to differ. With the body, it should come before the board. Other than that, all it's going to be is a big discussion, come up for vote.
No, ma'am, because it's not legislation.
But we have to vote on it, correct?
No, because it's not legislation.
Okay, so can you send us an email of this package that y'all got?
I'd be happy
to everybody on the board.
I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
Okay. That being said, I think we'll see if I can get a motion that we adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I got a motion, trustee Steve, second trustee Denton. Is that right?
All right, I lost my sheet, sorry. Okay, bear with me one moment. I'm sorry, trustee Denton, trustee Steve?
Trustee Steve, motion, trustee Denton, second.
Second. Okay, motion to adjourn, trustee Denton.
Aye.
Trustee Steve?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes? Not here, absent, and trustee Henry.
Aye.
Yeah.
Okay, 7:56. Doing all right.
Jason, that's a record. Thank you. Thank you.